All right, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Friday. You guys know the routine. Take a minute. Let's get some people on here. It is time for your HMG weekly wrap up. Hope everybody's having a good week. Let's share this out. And as always, if you see this, make sure you like, share. Let me know you're out there. How we doing? How we doing? Morning. Over on Instagram land. Good morning. Thank you guys. Ken, good morning, brother. How are you? Hope you're having a good week, brother. Hope you're having a good week. Crazy week again. Still recovering from the cellulitis from last week, but I'm doing better walking around. Appreciate those of you that reached out to me this week. Worried, nothing to worry about, but I do appreciate you guys reaching out. Thank you. Don't forget, I'm not wearing a tie today, but I want to remind everybody October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So for all of those, I think it's an important month. I got my tie here for my grandmother who passed in 2016 of breast cancer. And I think it's important. This is a very important month. So I want to remind everybody of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Next week is Halloween already. It's crazy to think that Halloween is next week. How many people like Halloween? How many of you like dressed up? What did you dress up as Halloween? What was your favorite costume? Whether it was as you were younger or now. I know a lot of adults really get into Halloween dressing up and they kind of go all out. Are you one of those people? If you are, leave a comment. Let me know. I'm curious to see what's your favorite costume. Oh, and keep it clean because I I should probably put that disclaimer in there because I know some of you. But put your favorite costume, and then what is the best Halloween movie? What's the best Halloween movie? And it could be anything, horror movie. I remember as a kid watching the Great Pumpkin. The Charlie Brown specials as a kid. I didn't really get into a whole lot of horror movies, but I know there's. I remember like the original Friday the 13th and what's the other one? Nightmare on Elm Street. That the one with Freddy Krueger, right? I remember. I wasn't big on horror films, so but I know that this is a lot of you start seeing a lot of those movies coming out right now. So, favorite those of you that watch this later on, I know it's kind of early for some of you. Those of you that watch this later on and throughout the weekend, leave a comment. Favorite Halloween costume and what's the best Halloween movie out right now? Ken like takes girls trick or treating. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Ken, because that was actually my next question was like, what's the best Halloween candy? Or what's the worst Halloween candy? I remember and this is so good, Ken. I'm glad you brought this up. I remember taking my son out trick or treating, and I used to love it. And I like sitting at the end of the driveway handing out candy, watching the neighborhood kids come up, say trick or treat, and get to see their costumes and stuff like that. I like that. We have a party on Saturday for the neighborhood our HOA is putting on a costume party for the neighborhood kids, and I'm one of the judges this year. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that should be. I think it'd be fun. I think anytime you could do stuff for kids like that in a fun manner, I think that's good. White chocolate cake. Well, can opinions vary, my friend. That's that's probably you, yeah, you and my wife would get along. I think that's her favorite too. Um, I would have to say like the worst candy now as an adult though would be like the candy corns, right? I remember as a kid I used to love the candy corns, but it like oh horrible now. And let me put this out there real quick for parents that are out there as a reminder and kids that watch this, you shouldn't be. Make sure you guys check your candy. Make sure you check your kids' candy and stuff like that. You know, we live in the world today is people are stupid. Um, and they want to hurt people for no apparent reason. So just check the candies before your kids consume them. Nerds suck. Ken, you're getting a little personal. I'm just kidding. Nah, nerds are. I feel like it's just hard sugar, really. I mean, and that what most candy is anyway, right? I don't know. Butterfingers were probably one of my favorites. I think Butterfingers and Baby Ruths when I was younger. Those were like the Halloween candies that I had looked for. Or that and the Reese's peanut butter cups. Hell, I'm late 40s, mid 40s, and I still look forward to Reese's peanut butter cups. So in moderation, of course. Yeah, I don't know. So what's the best Halloween candy out there? Get some more answers. Those of you that are watching throughout the show or pick up a little bit later, watch this. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys' favorite candy is out there. What else is coming up here? Yeah, Baby Ruth's a top notch can. Absolutely. I agree. What else is coming up? It's election day is right around the corner. November 5th. This week several states started early election. I know out here in Pennsylvania, which is where I'm at right now, the wife went out yesterday and voted. They had some early polls areas that you could go out and vote. The next 2 weeks are going to be really interesting to see what happens. Make sure you get out and vote. If you don't like what's going on and you want to make a change, you got to vote. And not just at a national level. I think it's very, very important that if you got stuff going on at the local level, you really got to start at the local level too. So make sure you get out and vote. That's all I'm going to say about the election stuff, at least for now. What else is going on? I saw an article that the governor of North Carolina said something along the lines of like 58 billion or 50 plus billion or something like that. I thought million or $1 billion to repair everything from the hurricane in that state. And there's a lot. I'm not going down any rabbit holes today with the hurricane stuff, but we got some people on the ground down there that are kind of feeding us some intel what's happening. Stand by for that. We're working on a couple of articles, some updates. We got reached out by an organization yesterday that we're in the middle of getting scheduled to have them come on the show and talk about what they've seen while they've been down there and what they're doing. So a lot of people are getting help, but there's still a lot of help that's being needed. I got my sister-in-law, who she probably won't watch this, but my sister-in-law, her brother set up a big thing. He owns a truck driving company up in Wisconsin, and they took, I think, 8 trucks, something like that, down to North Carolina with like hay and goods and a whole bunch of other stuff down there as well. So it's good to see a lot of people coming together to to work on this hurricane relief stuff still. I haven't seen a lot of it in the news. And the stuff that I am seeing in the news, I'll ask the people and they're not seeing it. So it's not to say that it's not happening, like FEMA and some of these other government organizations. I'm not saying that they're not down there. They're just not in the areas to where we have people. I'll put it that way. So um think of it what you will, but again, that goes to you really got to be careful what you consume, both media and on social media. I'm gonna let's see here, jump down before we get into any big topics. Uh, can we talk about Army and the Navy football teams real quick? Army and Navy this year, both undefeated. Now, Army this year, Army's ranked 23rd in the AP polls. Navy is ranked 24th. Right now, Army is 7-0, Navy is 6-0. Both teams undefeated. First time since 1945 that both teams are undefeated. And I think this is cool. Both teams are having a great year. Army is off this weekend. They are in their bye week this weekend. Number 24 Navy, which is 6-0, tomorrow goes into number 12 Notre Dame, which is 6-1. Should be an interesting game. Should be an interesting game. But I gotta say, like, I'm so proud of the academies right now, and I've been fortunate enough working a lot with West Point and their football team, doing some interviews and stuff. I'll get into that as I talk about the shows here in a little bit with our new show, Cadets on the Gridiron. But how cool is that? The Army and Navy both peaking in the top 25. Two of, I think, 5 or 6 undefeated teams in the nation. Army is, I think, 11-0. They have the longest winning streak in college football right now. Longest winning streak in college football right now. Awesome. Awesome job. And I got to tell you something. Army's quarterback, I should know the name off the top of my head. Army's quarterback. I'm saying, everybody wonder what I'm looking at here. I'm looking at the Bryson Daly. I could see his face. Bryson Daly needs to be in the conversation of the Heisman Trophy. He's got to be a Heisman candidate. Now, I think it's going to get too political. I think it's going to get, they're going to look at scheduling and stuff like that. This kid is Bryson Daly is he's fun to watch. He's got an arm on him. He can throw. He can run. He's built like a linebacker or a big fullback. Been fun to watch. But they are on a bye week this week. Now, next week, we're hoping to be on the road. We'll be up at West Point for the Army Air Force game next Saturday. Stay tuned for that. We'll see if we can get up there or not. But I wanted to give a shout out to both Army and Navy for just a phenomenal season so far. And I hope Navy goes into Notre Dame and mops the Irish at home. I've said it. I'm cheering Navy on this weekend, as I think we all should be right now. Our nation's future leaders in the military. Awesome job, guys. So keep it up, both Army and Navy football teams. Great job. Let me go back here. All right, let's get into some of the topics this week. This one, I almost was like, I got like all giddy inside. I was warm, fuzzy feeling. And when I'm about to read this, it just warms my heart. Bill Gates to appear before Dutch court in vaccine lawsuit. Oh, pops and popcorn, folks. Let's hope this one goes all the way. I love this. Bill Gates will appear before a Dutch court due to his involvement with the COVID-19 vaccines. The plaintiffs alleged that Gates, through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the World Economic Forum, knew the COVID-19 vaccines were not safe and effective. And due to their knowledge of the vaccine issues, Gates and others deliberately misled the public. I, for one, am shocked. Yeah, I listen. I don't care for the man. I don't respect the man. Um, I think he's a phony. I've said it publicly. I'm probably going to get shadow banned, and I'll get a warning here later on. So make sure you guys share this. Look it up. Bill Gates to appear before a Dutch court. I hope it happens. I hope they find him guilty. And as far as I care, he can rot away in a prison somewhere. I think that's good news, quite frankly. Um, Liz Cheney campaigns with Kamala Harris. Why would I put that in there? I don't know. I thought at first when I saw it, I was like, nobody really cares about Liz Cheney anymore. Uh, it just, I think I threw it in there so people could understand what's really going on. Like, look at it. Wait, wasn't Liz Cheney a Republican? Why are all these GOPs going Democrat now? I don't know. Maybe you should really dive in and look at what's going on. Is it because they hate Donald Trump? Is it because they hate his policies? Is it because they hate America? Is it because you decide. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm just kind of telling you there's some things that you need to put together. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Let's move on, shall we? Okay. Next one. The Who, not the band. Okay, not the band. I'm talking about the World Health Organization is working with partners to limit misinformation. Interesting. World Health Organization director Dr. Tridos, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Called for governments to reduce the spread of so-called misinformation during the recent World Health Summit. He says strong partnerships, like strong relationships, are built on trust, he said. He also said trust has always been the foundation of medicine and public health. Trust itself does not make people healthy, but no one can be healthy without trust. Yeah. It's kind of an oxymoron putting the word trust in the World Health Organization in the same sentence, isn't it? During the COVID-19 pandemic, falsehoods about masks, vaccines, and lockdown spread as fast as the virus itself and were almost as deadly, he continued, just as mis and disinformation undermined the response to the pandemic itself. So, it continues to undermine negotiations on the WHO pandemic agreement. Pay attention. Let me say that again. The WHO pandemic agreement. The WHO Director General proceeded to deny claims that its pandemic agreement would cede national sovereignty to WHO and give its power to impose lockdown or vaccine mandates on countries. I got an idea. I think what I'll do is I'll just make it easy for you guys. Let me share this here so you guys don't. I mean, again, don't take my word for it. Um, there you go. Here's what I got. This one came out of American Health, and they get it from a couple of different organizations. But this is the WHO pandemic agreement. If we're not paying attention to what's going on, folks, open your eyes and do some research. Everybody's got cell phones. Take a couple minutes a day. Just take a look. See what's on there. I've read the pandemic agreement, and I think that the World Health Organization, the fact that they're even bringing it up and then talking about trust and disinformation or misinformation, uh, ought to be a red flag for everybody. Just my personal opinion. You can agree or disagree with me. That's fine. But look this stuff up because it's gonna open your eyes and it should cause some concern. Um, Military Creator Con, Thursday, January 16th. I know it's a few months away, but I want to talk about it. It's going to be from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Renaissance Orlando at SeaWorld. I'm going to put this in there as well. Uh, Come on down. I'd like to see everybody in Orlando in January. I will be down there speaking myself. Um, and that is an event within event. Just so you know, that's an event in Podfest for all you podcasters out there. Come on down. It'll be it's always a good time. It's always a good time. So I'll put those in there. The Eventbrite link is where you can purchase tickets. David, good morning to you, brother. Appreciate you jumping on. Appreciate, yeah. David, I tell you what, it's you guys share this. I know that we got a couple people on, a few over on the gram. I can't. Uh, yeah, World Health Organization and uh Bill Gates in the same week. I talk about it. Yeah, tell me I'm not fired. I just, oh, Jesus, God help us. Seriously, we need it. People, please. I cannot stress to you guys enough. Don't take my word for it. I get passionate about some of these things, but it is just me, right? And you don't have to agree with me. There's a lot of you out there that watch this show. I love you. God bless you. And those of you that don't agree with me, I love you. God bless you. But and we're still friends. That's the cool thing about it. There's some people out there that'll see this and get upset, and I'll get hate mail or whatever. That's fine. I don't care. Whatever. Um, but we gotta start getting educated on this stuff, guys. We gotta start seeing what's happening, and the fact that the election is right around the corner, and people are saying, "Oh, it's gonna get worse before it gets better." Whatever. I don't have a crystal ball, I can't say that all things are gonna get if they get worse, great. Just be prepared then, right? That's all you can do. You should be you should have extra water, extra fuel of sort, whether it's propane, gas, both in a safe place. You should have extra perishable items, food. What happens if have extra toilet paper? Don't go out and buy, you know, damn Costco and run them out of toilet paper and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, you got to be prepared for this stuff too, because you don't know what's going to happen. And you're not hearing stories about it. We've talked about it in the past. The World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, they all want to do like these 15-minute cities. I'm not about that. Neither should you. If you like being in the city, that's great. That's fine. But they're going to tell you can't go past a 15-minute mark and you have to do this, that, and the other thing. Screw you. Last time I checked, we lived in America. And I know guys that are on here watching this show right now. We have fought side by side for our freedoms. I'll be damned if somebody's going to tell you, well, you can't go there because it's past your 15-mile or your 15-minute place of living. Screw you. Ammo. Yes. Tons of ammo. Yes. If you're not collecting ammo, shame on you. Thanks for bringing that up, Ken. Yeah. But again, and I say all this stuff, guys, because it's not a scare tactic by any means. Because out of all of this, how much of it can we control right now? Or how much individually we can't do a whole lot, but together as a collective, and I'm not saying let's go start a revolution. I'm not saying that. Um, but what I'm saying is we know the law, know what's around you, and be prepared. That's the biggest thing. Just be prepared. And if you're not sure, I know there's some people out there that are just like, what do you mean be prepared? I just brought it up. Ken said, have ammo. Some people don't shoot guns. Great. Have food, have water, have the essentials that you need to be ready. What are you going to do with money if the the dollar and the economy continues to tank? What are you gonna do for food, meat? I work with local ranchers here. I got a half a cow and a freezer downstairs. I've already given meat out to some of my neighbors and whatnot, but some of my elderly neighbors, um, that can't get to the store and stuff like that. And that's not a pat on the back for me. It's just something that I'm just that type of person. I want to help other people. So get to that point where you guys can be more self-sufficient. And honestly, let's think about this. We should be in a point in our lives where you want to be a little more self-sufficient if you can be, right? You don't want to necessarily rely on have your, you know, um, group, your community. That's what I'm looking for. Have a community of people. I know if I left here where I'm at in Pennsylvania, I can go to 4 different states right now, and I have communities in those states that I could go to Arizona, Wisconsin. I'm not going to name the other ones, but I have communities that I can go to that I know that would welcome me in open arms, and we'd be ready to go if we needed to. David, I'm gonna put David's comment up here because he makes a good point. The way the government interfered, 2019 to 2022 should have been a huge wake up call for everyone. Absolutely, absolutely. But you couldn't hit the nail on the head any better than that. We got to wake up, people, and if we're not awake now, then Jesus, God help us. You know what I'm saying? It blows my mind, and it's I don't know. I'm not. It amazes me talking to people during the week that are just like, "Oh, you see this, you see that, you got this, you got that," and it's all stuff on the mainstream media, and now with that stuff, I take it with such a grain of salt that I don't let it bother me anymore. People are gonna believe what they wanna believe. You can serve the truth up on a silver again, I'm not saying that I have the truth. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you could serve the truth up on a silver platter, and that person would still not believe you. People are gonna believe what they wanna believe, and that's fine. All I'm asking you to do is do your own research and put the pieces together. If the government is saying, and I'm not against the government, I'm not saying that. 'Cause I don't want any black SUVs showing up at my house and stuff. But, but if you got to start putting the pieces together and start seeing why people are saying what they're saying. Why are these politicians saying what they're saying? Why is the World Health Organization saying this? Why is the World Economic Forum saying this? And a lot of people have never they've heard of it, but they don't know what they're capable of doing and or what those organizations even do. You guys have these goddamn cell phones that have internet and stuff. Look it up for crying out loud. I know. Half of you sit on the crapper for 20 minutes flipping through your phones, going to the bathroom. You read something instead of just flipping through. Look at this, like that. Anyway, uh, David, another great point. David says North Carolina right now is a best example. Minimum people or at minimum people should have at least abilities to survive 30 days with no assistance at all. And that's hard. You look at I know guys, a couple people down in North Carolina that are helping out right now, and they're without food, they're without water, it's tough, and they're in areas that they can't get any of that stuff because it's been all washed away. Have a generator. That's another thing. You should have a generator uh, as well. I just the North Carolina thing really bothers me. And then everybody wants to jump on the conspiracy bandwagon about weather control. Do your research on that. I'm not saying that's what it was, and I'm not saying that it didn't have a factor in it as well. There's just a lot going on, and I think more and more things have come to light. I'm 46, and I look at it like things that I was taught growing up, things that I believed up until this point in my life. There's like, oh, wait a minute, well, that's not necessarily true. You've been told one thing the majority of your life, only to find out that now that some of the people that have been telling that to you your whole life or dying off, you're like, oh, that wasn't. You want to talk about misinformation? Anyway, Ken, I would never judge you, maybe except for the Kit Kat. But anyway, all right, guys, listen, we keep the comments coming. I'm gonna keep the comments coming. I'm gonna get started on the shows because we got some new shows, and I'm really excited about some of these new shows. We got a new show called Doc Talk Podcast. It's from our friends over at True Patriot Outfitters. This past week, they talked about industry news that just broke. They got a big announcement that they made this week on the podcast or for the podcast about the future of the podcast. And then they were live with Matt, Stefan Fishing, to talk about all things fishing, past and present. They are doing a live show coming up this coming Monday on their Facebook and YouTube channel. It's called Doc Talk or TPO Doc Talk Podcast. Adam and Christine Malika stop by. They're going to introduce their awesome boat dealership in Southern Colorado. It's a veteran and avid bass angler. Adam is a veteran and an avid bass angler himself. He has a unique perspective that helps Malika Marine apart of separates them from the rest. So it's going to be a good show. That's going to be Monday night coming up this Monday, Colorado time. Oh, what do we have here? Annette, tell me that isn't Annette. Annette, how are you, dear? Good to see you. Thank you for jumping on. My God, I haven't seen you in a while. I love seeing you guys. Thank you guys for jumping on. Annette, big hug to you, dear. Miss you. Miss you. All right. So that one is called Doc Talk podcast from our friends over at True Patriot Outfitters. Now, later on today, we got a new show that we created called Cadets on the Gridiron. Last week, we had inside linebacker Caleb on. This week, we have senior safety Mac D. Domingo on the show. He's a senior safety. Had a great conversation with him. He's one of the captains of the defense on West Point. Like I said, this week is their bye week. But Max came on. Great kid. He's got a lot of cool things and a lot of plans that he wants to do in his military career and shortly afterwards. So make sure you stay tuned for that. That's going to come out later today. Cadets on the Gridiron. Next up, we got Faith, Valor, and Growth. This week, realtor bias against VA loans. Is that a real issue? I think it is. I'm in the process of looking at land and buying a house, and it's been a kick in the crotch on several things. But anyway, with the show here, they explore the critical world of the VA home loans, uncovering why many real estate agents hesitate to accept VA offers and the underlying issues within the mortgage community. JMac shares his personal stories and financial insights into the VA loans, emphasizing their significant benefits. They also address the common misconception about VA appraisals and highlight incentives like military mortgage boot camp to better educate loan officers. So interesting show. It's called Faith, Valor, and Growth. You can check it out. Again, don't forget, guys, all the shows that I'm talking about, these are all shows that you can find on Heroes Media Group. Go to heroesmediagroup.com. And these are all shows that have did stuff this week. Next up, we got the Strategic Veteran. This week, special guest Jeremy, a Marine Corps infantry veteran, transitioned into a highly successful real estate investor. Shares his journey from serving into the Marines and then learned how to get into the real estate investment side of things in Southern Utah. Started his business. His first investment was a fourplex that he purchased sight unseen. It was pretty interesting to hear that. Crazy. I thought, but he's got a lot of good tips. If you're interested in getting into real estate investment, check it out. It's called the Strategic Veteran. Next up, for all you bikers out there, Because Bikers Matter podcast host David, aka Vegas Schumann, addresses a tragic reality of motorcycle accidents, highlighting a recent loss of life due to distracted driving. Sad. He emphasized the importance of proper motorcycle insurance, noting that 80% of motorcyclists lack adequate coverage to protect themselves and their families. David discusses the critical need for policies that not only cover the bike repairs, but also medical expenses, loss of wages, and living costs in the event, God forbid, of an accident. It's called Because Bikers Matter podcast. Check it out. Guys, I'll get to the comments here in just a few. Homefront Sit Rep podcast this week. They do 2 shows on Sunday night and Monday night. They got 2 live shows that they did this week. Make sure you go check them out. Homefront Sit Rep podcast. Next up, Senior Living Guide. There's a joke in there somewhere about those of us that are watching right now. Senior Living Guide. This week, Leah Pervez from AARP joins the show. She is the principal on prescription drug policy at AARP's Public Policy Institute. She is the instrumental in leading efforts improving prescription drug affordability and accessibility for older adults. In this episode, you're going to learn some critical updates and changes to Medicare, hitting key topics such as open enrollment dates, which I believe are now, and the introduction of new out-of-pocket spending caps, new monthly caps on insulin copays, and new vaccine benefits. Check it out. It's called Senior Living Guide. Hold on here. I'm gonna. Ken, Dave, I'm gonna get to you guys after the shows here. Let me get through these. Oh, I can't wait. Next up, we got Patriots Inside the Wire. This week, Heather from Give to Those, an organization dedicated to supporting people, veterans, active duty service members, first responders, and their families through recreational therapy. She joins the show, talks to Tracy Two Steps on this great episode. It was Wednesday night. Patriots Inside the Wire. They do 2 shows, Monday and Wednesday nights. Make sure you check them out live on Facebook. Next up, we got Bump in the Road. This week, Jonathan joins the show. His story is one of dually rich and poor, addiction and sobriety, body dysphoria, and body wellness. Shares a story about mental health awareness. More than that, it's about the incredible strength it takes to pull yourself out of a hole to find wholeness. If you carry around any feelings that bring you down, this is one man's roadmap to wellness, a map that can serve us all. This was a pretty cool episode. I'll admit it's called Bump in the Road. Check it out. I want to say something about this real quick because I posted something on my personal page earlier this week about being in a hole in PTSD, and I gotten a lot of responses and quite a few personal messages on it. I'm fine. I thought it was a very eye-opening post. If you go to my personal page, you could see it, but it's about a soldier who's in a hole trying to get out. People walking by, he's asking for help. Nobody's really helping until another soldier who's had PTSD jumps in the hole with him. He freaks out like, hey, and the guy that jumped in says, hey, brother, don't worry. I've been there. I know the way out. We're going to get out together. I think that's such a strong, one thing I love about our veteran community is like there's such a strong bond. And if you've ever gone through PTSD, I mean, the PTSD could be for, anybody could go through that if you've had a traumatic experience, but particularly in the veteran community, check on your battle buddies. All right, next up, the Arms Room Show. They do a show every Monday. Live show goes out every Monday, 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. This week, they're discussing ideas for storing essential items in your home, like water, food, guns, ammo, fuel, etc. I'm pretty sure I just was talking about that at the beginning of the show. Wow. This is a show everybody should listen to, the Arms Room Show. This is particularly this episode. You want to know what to store in your home, especially right now, water, food, guns, ammo, fuel. And they get into some really detailed stuff on how to store it and whatnot. Go check it out. It's called the Arms Room Show. Go listen to that now or after this show. Next up, Misfit Nation podcast. Host Rich LaMonica sits down with Brad Minus, a powerhouse in the world of endurance coaching. I'm going to simplify this. Brad's got a ton of credentials. He's a USAT level 1 certified triathlon coach, healthy running certified coach. He's done some crazy things. He's done 5 Ironman triathlons, 25 half Ironman races, 40 marathons, 50-mile ultra marathon. I'm tired just thinking about all that. I can't imagine. I think I did 1 marathon in White Sands, New Mexico. And I wouldn't even say it was a marathon. I mean, it was like the length was a marathon, but what was it? The Bataan Death March in like 2000 or 1999, 2000. I think it was in 2000. And I didn't run it. No, I walked that whole damn thing. You know, run. Frick out of here. I ain't doing it. Anyway, this was a really cool episode. And if you're the type that likes to run and you do these crazy, ultra marathons and these triathlons and stuff like that, this is right up your alley. It's called Misfit Nation podcast. They do several shows a week. They got the Tuesday crew. They did a show this week as well. You can check them out. Misfit Nation. Next up, Label Free podcast. This week, Deanna Redilescu is back. She welcomes multifaceted actor Tony Trucks, known for her roles in popular series such as Showtime's Barbershop, CBS's SEAL Team, and Made in Jersey. Episode touches on Tori's personal advocacy for hearing health, stemming from her own experiences with hearing loss. She personally explains the connection between hearing health and cognitive well-being. This was a pretty cool episode. I learned a lot on this one. It's called Label Free Podcast. Check it out. Next up, People's Patriot Project. We got your 6 at 6 every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. This past week, the team rolling with stories of love, family, faith, and bonding with Raquel Parfait, who comes with a list of accolades that you can listen to. Also, you get to hear music from Gary Gigner, who will rock you to the core with his music. Every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, kind of a round table. I love this. They bring on, they usually have several guests, but it's all veterans, first responders related. Great episode. Check it out. The People's Patriot Project. Couple left here. Other Side of the Firewall. Ryan and Shannon both explore themes ranging from lighthearted banter to serious discussions about misinformation in media. This show here, Other Side of the Firewall, they do a show every 5 times a week. Monday through Friday, they do a show Monday through Friday. Very consumable, about 20 minutes, anywhere from 12 to 20 minutes long. Listen to this one that they put out this morning about misinformation in the media. It's going to open your eyes. It's funny how I talked about it at the beginning of the show, and a lot of the shows talked about it this week. Crazy. Last not least, Chasing Happiness. In this episode, Ryan dives deep into the struggles of juggling multiple responsibilities and the overwhelming pressures to keep everything running smoothly. Been there. I think we all have, right? Some of the things that you're going to learn: how to embrace your team, learn to delegate. I get that. Prioritize your task, practice self-compassion, and establish a morning ritual. All good advice. It's called Chasing Happiness. Check it out. Shout out to our network sponsors, Forget Genetics. All you hunters out there, if you want the deer coming into your woods, Forget Genetics is the everything that you want in the woods. I love these guys. Veteran owned. Go to forgetgenetics.com. Shout out to my man Anthony over at My Tax Fella. Tax season is right around the corner. Go check them out, guys. Best company in the business. Been using them for about 10 years. Love them to death. Jim Neary's Live Bait and Tackle and Warriors on the Water LTD. Love these guys. Thank you very much. Motorcycle Safety Lawyers. Come on, if you ride bikes, you guys have these guys on your speed dial. JB Auto Clothiers, another veteran-owned company. And then, of course, our sister company, HMG Beverage. You can go to hmgbeverage.com or hmgcoffee.com. And we were just informed that we got a new website coming up in February, so stay tuned for that. Makes everything a little bit easier. So let's get back into some of these comments that we got here. Net, love it. David, how could I forget? David, thank you so much for bringing this up. I have to remember, folks, next year, 2025, we do have a new show that's going to be coming on. We're not sure how many episodes we're going to do yet, but it's called the Grumpy Old Guys podcast. And I for one am excited about it. I think it's going to be awesome. David and Ken will be the primary hosts of the show, and I'm certainly looking forward to it. And if I can get my I'm trying to get the picture of it here. Hopefully, I can find it. I created this little image that I shared last week with I think David and Ken. I'll do it next week. I can't find it right now. Anyway, yeah. The Grumpy Old Guys podcast. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. It may end up being a reality TV show. Who knows, right? Filmed in the desert highlands of Arizona. Two grumpy old guys sitting back, drinking coffee, talking about everything. Maybe yelling at the neighbor's kids or dogs or something. I don't know. We don't know. But nonetheless, it is going to be awesome. Oh, God. Anyway. Folks, make sure you leave a comment. Share this out. I want to appreciate everybody that jumped on this morning on the live. Ken, thank you. Dave, thank you. Annette, great to see you on here. Miss you, lady, wonderful woman. Appreciate you jumping on. Guys, shut the phones off. Get outside. It's cooled off. It was about 38 this morning here. It is flannel weather. I'm excited about it. But get outside this weekend. Be safe, and make sure you guys use your heads. Watch what you consume. You know how it goes. All right. Next week we'll probably be on the road. So stay tuned for that. We may be up at West Point. We'll see. Army Air Force game is next weekend. Hopefully we can get up there, but we'll keep you guys posted on that as well. Make sure you check out all the shows. Show them love and support. Go leave them a comment on their latest post. And you can check out all the shows again at heroesmediagroup.com. God bless you. God bless America. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.